Hey y'all, this is Kevin. I'm in Georgia, Zone 8A, right in the middle of Central Georgia. And today is May 30th, 2021. And I think it's time to give you an update on my single seed challenge. If you remember from the first video, I planted a mortgage lifter tomato. Unfortunately, it didn't do it quite as well as some of my other tomatoes that I planted from seed at the same time. So it came out in round 2, and let's take a look at it. I've upgraded to a little rock. You can see I use soaker hoses to water my tomato beds. And he's got some flowers on him. I'm keeping him down to 2 vines. I've trimmed off all the suckers other than these 2 tops here. Forks toward the bottom. I'm keeping him trimmed up off the ground. Keeping him fed and fertilized, and he's looking pretty good now. So, now that you've seen the mortgage lifter from the single seed challenge, let's take a look at the rest of my tomatoes. I've got 2 beds here, both with cattle panels, and each bed has I believe 10 tomato plants. And in bed number 1, I call it over here, every one of the 10 is a different variety. I've got a brickyard right here next to the big marigold. I've kept him to 3 or 4 stems. I need to get rid of some of these suckers. Some of them are getting kind of big and need to be pruned down. They come out really quick. I'm not sure if it's a leaf or a sucker, but we'll take it out. You can see some nice little tomatoes coming up on that brickyard. I got a Cherokee purple here with some tomatoes on it. Again, keeping some of the suckers trimmed, some not. I'm going to let them go up thick up the cattle panel. The chocolate stripe I have been keeping to 1, although it's got a second one coming up right there. I'm going to go ahead and let that second one crawl on up the top of the panel too. The Brad's Atomic Grape, and boy, this thing, it's got some really long viney leaves. It's kind of stands out amongst the rest, especially next to that potato leaf chocolate stripe variety there. This is the $5 for 10 seeds from Hostel's Mountain Vineyard. They raved so much about them, I decided to get some and grow a few, and for this one I'm just letting it grow wild. I put it in a cage. Now I'm putting another trellis around it. I need to get that up off the ground there, and as you can see, things are starting to look good. Again, this bed's got a soaker hose, which seems to be a pretty good choice for tomato plants. I got a couple of determinants here, a Rutgers and a Celebrity. So I'm just letting them bush out, not really pruning them much except to get the leaves off the ground. Make sure I try to avoid that blight and any other kind of diseases. I got a Roma there, these big fat leaves that these Romas have. Got a few tomatoes back there somewhere. That Celebrity has some nice ones on it. This is the black creme everybody raved about. I'm kind of keeping it down to just 2. Although a couple more have come out. Oh well. Whatever it does, it does. And a purple boy, which is like the Cherokee purple, but I guess has some little other variety bred into it to give it some more disease resistant. And it's the first time I've had an arc. I got some of these Oriental yard long beans and some lemon cucumbers. And I've got about 4 plants of each on each side. Those get a little more sun than these do, and these were planted about a week later. I think they'll be catching up pretty soon though. And here at the edge before the second tomato bed, which includes the mortgage lifter I showed you earlier, I've got some of these, I believe they're Mongolian giant sunflowers, or Goliath sunflowers. I forget which one, but they're supposed to get really big and they seem to be well on the way. Another Cherokee purple, and these were planted a little later than those, so a little succession planting there. Make sure I get some stages of tomatoes and hopefully get them continuous up until it just gets too hot for the flowers to set. Got some jelly bean cherry tomatoes, another little black creme there just getting going. Another one of those potato leaf things. They do like to curl. Nothing else is showing any curl. And there's young Roma. There's some more marigolds, some dill, some variegated sage. I thought it was pretty, so I figured I'd put it out here. More jelly bean cherries, Cherokee purple, and there's the mortgage lifter. Got another brickyard determinant here. Let them just bush out there, give it some substance. Okay, back here, it took me a while to get that post put in. Georgia red clay is really tough to dig in, but I managed. It's pretty sturdy. Well, I pull on it and it moves, but hopefully it'll hold that muscadine plant, and I'll get a couple more of those posts put in down here. That is I don't know much about how to take care of muscadine except what Scott Head on his Black Gumbo channel has taught me, so I'll prune it and see what I can do. It's one of the varieties that self-pollinates, so I might get another one just to improve pollination, but he doesn't have to have another vine. This oregano in the corner of my big tomato bed here is, I planted it last year from a little tiny 4-inch cup, moved it across the yard twice, and it just kept growing. Even the winter didn't knock it down any. Now we'll go over here to my other beds where I have a metal bed that I set up. I have some video of that I have not posted yet, and I may or may not get around to. We have some banana peppers, and man, they are really making. I got some of the roulette habanero, which are a non-hot habanero. They're heatless. Here in the midst of them, I do have an actual habanero, so people have to be careful. It is an orange habanero, but I overwintered actually, and don't see any on there yet, but I do have some banana peppers. A little bell pepper on this plant I bought at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church plant sale. No, I take that back. I bought that at the Warner Robins Farmers Market. And another Rutgers, another Celebrity. I have some bags here with even more tomatoes. That's a pretty big bag, so I put a black creme in that. That was my best looking plant of all of them. And he still looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to do something about getting these guys a trellis to go up. Those are 2 mountain vineyards there. Those beautiful grape tomatoes that cost 50 cents a seed. More Celebrity in Rutgers. Another Goliath sunflower, which is won't be long before he gets taller than I am. Let's see, we got a little bug of some kind there. We'll see. Some black Cherokee pole beans that I'm going to let grow around this fence here, inside of which I have watermelons, and they're going to get crowded, I know, but I'm going to have to let them grow, the vines grow out over this mulched area. Some crookneck squash, some cantaloupe, which I probably should thin a few of them out. some more smaller varieties of sunflowers. And then I guess we can walk back across the yard here and you'll be able to see the gladiolas, and I need to fill the bird feeder. Here is the strawberries that, well, they're pretty ugly, but I know strawberries don't actually do much till the second year, so it's 3 varieties. We'll see what they do. I stuck a runner in the dirt there, and I guess I'll plant that out in the yard somewhere and just let them go. These are blooming and just looking great. I up-potted those during the spring, and they just really responded. I dug up some potatoes a few days ago. Got some Adirondack purple, blue, black, whatever they're called. They're those purple potatoes. Some sweet potatoes and some straight 8 cucumbers that may be a little thick and may not be wanting to go up this trellis like I want them to, but I'm going to make them. I just planted corn, and I planted it behind the okra. The corn is Obsession Bicolor Sweet Corn from Haas Tools. The okra is, let's see, the first row is Jambalaya from Haas. All these are from Haas actually. Beijing Orange, and 2 rows of Clemson Spineless. I had to reseed a few of my corn starts this morning because my squirrel decided to eat them. Now over here we have some morning glories coming up the fence with a Confederate rose that I planted from a start that I took off this Confederate rose over here, which is coming back once again. This is the new pollinator garden that I built this year. Just picked some random flowers and planted them. A few more of the big sunflowers over there. They aren't getting a lot of sun, so they're not coming along as well as the big one is. One of the 4 o'clocks I planted back there bloomed. And the rest of them is one of those $2 boxes from Dollar General. And it's supposed to cover 100 square feet, and I just dumped the whole box out and raked it in. That's not even 10 square feet, but I don't mind it being a little thick. Haven't seen any bees yet, or any ladybugs or whatever else is supposed to sleep in those things. We'll see how it goes once these get to blooming in about a month. And let's go to the front yard and check that out. Right on the side of the house by the garage and the driveway where I harden off my plants and stuff, we have a light out here that stays on all night, attracts beetles, bugs, and toads. So I built a little toad retreat, and then I started adding flowers, and might have scared some of the toads off. So I haven't seen as many toads this year as I did last year, so I hope they're coming back around. Now these 4 o'clocks, some of them came from my own seeds from plants that have been growing in the front yard for years. Now this Confederate rose bush, tree, whatever you want to call it, it's been here a few years. I trimmed it up and kept it just to the one stalk, so it's more like a tree than the one in the backyard is. I really like the way it's come out. It reaches up around the house to get the sunlight. And here we have a angel trumpet, which has not started to bloom yet. Some begonias I put under there to add a little. The angel trumpet and these 4 o'clocks have been here for years, and I just spruced them up over the past couple of years. And I put some impatiens in, and this is a bunch more 4 o'clocks that I planted both from seed packs and from a combination of seeds from this plant that I collected. As you can see, there's a few other established 4 o'clocks here amongst the Wandering Jew. And I'm not sure, I think those are basket plants according to my Plant ID app. Or some kind of Japanese Wandering Jew or something. Some purple shamrocks, some actual Wandering Jew. And that's about it for my flowers. That's the cherry tree. I keep it pruned. I posted some pictures when it was in full bloom earlier this spring. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to see y'all soon.